Welcome to the Chef's Pantry. I'm Anna Rossi and we have steak on the menu tonight. And guess what? I also have a hot grill fired up outside. So bundle up, we're gonna get cooking. We're gonna make delicious steak pinwheels, and I have a really creamy orzo pasta to pair along with this. But the fun thing is, we're gonna sneak in flavor all the ways. When we're talking pinwheels, we're gonna butterfly open this gorgeous piece of flank steak and then give it some heavy personality. So let's go ahead and start with a delicious pesto. So we're going to layer up some pesto, some provolone, and some prosciutto. Of course, store-bought, anything, as Ina would say, is fine. But let's make our own. The thing I love about pesto is that there's a lot of opportunity to pull in things that you have. Think about garlic, olive oil, salt, a little bit of pepper, but then pull in the nuts that you have, also herbs or greens that speak to you. And it doesn't even have to be greens. It could be artichoke, tomato, peppers, you name it. So let me show you what I have. It's classic with a twist. So a heavy hand of some gorgeous hydroponic basil. And then look, I had this sitting in my refrigerator and it needs a home. These are baby pea shoots, some baby kale, some spinach, some baby bok choy. This is protein packed and vitamin rich. Also, it does well with that green color there. And then nuts. You have the classic pine nut, or those are actually seeds that you'd find in a traditional pesto. But I have some pistachios left over from the holidays. They already have a nice little lightly salted and roasted quality to them, so I don't have to do anything before these hit it too. I love using what I have on hand. Kosher salt, cracked pepper, and then freshly grated Parmigiano. This is one way that you impart love into your food. You grate your Parmigiano by hand, or you put someone to work who you want to have quiet down a little bit because they might work up a sweat and simmer a bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and puree this. I love this little mini microplane grater. It's just the right size. And look how magnificent these garlic cloves are. Let's go ahead and start with one. Ordinarily, I would pop two in, but just like with anything, especially when you're talking about fresh ingredients, as it should be, it has different levels of potency and pungency. So this garlic is especially fragrant. So you can see I went ahead and smashed it to start to release some of those great oils. And then let's go ahead and pop that into the food processor with just a pinch of salt and then a heavy hand of those nuts. And then let's give this a head start. We want to make sure that the garlic has a fighting chance to really blend up. And you can see it's now all that nice pea-sized, coarse sand-like texture before we go ahead and bring in the basil and those little baby greens. A big chunk of garlic definitely changes the mood and the texture of the dish. How we're using this though is very forgiving. Basically, this is a really cool marinade that we're giving to our gorgeous piece of flank steak. But this would also be a great thing to keep on hand. Toss it with your favorite pasta, toss it with a little crostini or bruschetta for an easy little snack. Put a fried egg on top, and that's like one sauce, many uses. Okay, let's go ahead and give this another blitz. And you can see I'm just gonna start to break down the greens, and then we'll pull in the cheese and add a little bit of the Parmigiano. I love a sauce like this that has that color and vibrancy to it. Okay, and then with all of the components of what we're popping in here, you have that nice salinity too. The Parmigiano has great flavor, nice texture, and a little bit of saltiness to it too. So that's where the chef in you, please taste as you go and think about how much you want to bring forward. A little more, extra virgin. Let's go extra on the extra virgin. And then give it another blitz. Wow, look at how the pistachios are even part of the party here. That looks so good. And I like things when they're a little bit coarse too. Okay, let's go ahead and give this a taste. This looks unbelievable. Look at how verdant green this is. Oh. Okay, this is awesome. You know who's gonna be really happy to meet this? Our gorgeous piece of flank. Let me butterfly this up for you when we come back. Okay, just really quick, I want you to know how much it means to me that you're joining me in the kitchen, and I want to know you are here. So drop a comment down below, say hi, let me know you stopped by. Also, give this a like, and my guess is you're a foodie and probably have some friends that might want to gather a recipe or two to add to their kitchen repertoire. So share it. Also, hey, if you have any brands, products, recipe ideas, ingredients that you think we should try right here in the chef's pantry, I want to know. Okay, let's get back into the kitchen. Ooh, welcome back. Okay, look what we just whipped up, this delicious basil pesto with a little bit of pea shoot protein in there, packed with pistachios and pine nuts. It's a big tongue twister. Now, let me show you what we have going on here with this gorgeous flank cut of steak. I love flank. It has this gorgeous muscle grain to it that's going to really thrive when this goes onto our hot grill surface outside. This is from the abdomen region of the cow, so you get loads of protein, big beefy flavor, and then even better, when you butterfly this, you can load it up even further. Okay, so sharp knife. Here, I've gone ahead and gotten a head start, basically just placing my hand to give myself an intuitive sense of the distance from the beef to my cutting surface. And then carefully, I worked my way out across the meat. And then here we almost have it all the way down. I'm just going to go ahead and give a little bit further slice here. We're going to take a meat pounder and really even out all the imperfection of the texture before we season and flavor it. But let's go ahead and do the best we can right there. And you can see this is about a ½ an inch thick all the way across. And now what we've done is created so much more surface area to give our dry rub and then also smother with some really big flavors, like starting with that gorgeous pesto. Okay, so you know what I like to do is just keep my butcher paper that the meat comes in and use this as a surface to lay on top of the protein so it doesn't spatter juice all over the kitchen. So I have my meat pounder. I'm just gonna give it, here, let's slide it off the glass there. We don't need to create more sound than necessary for the neighbors. Okay, we're just gonna run it across the meat, making sure everything is nice and even. Not only does this help create consistency when we go to grill this, but it also helps tenderize the protein. Let's take a look. Ooh, yum, look at that. Okay, so let's keep getting handsy here. We've got a good story going. So here's what I'm gonna flavor this meat with. I have a delicious Montreal spice rub. I love Montreal spice rub. It has some mustard, some coriander, some dried dill, some peppercorn, a little bit of salt already in there. It's big flavor. This is a classic steakhouse dry rub flavor profile that I am super into. Let's go ahead and give both sides a heavy seasoning. And this one is from Curio Spice. They're based out in Cambridge, and I love their blends. Finding a spice blend, each one is gonna be a little bit different. It's like finding a curry that really speaks to you. This one suits me. I love that special pop of coriander. Okay, now I wanna create a little bit of a sticky surface before we add our cheese and our prosciutto. So let's go ahead and slather that delicious pesto onto the protein surface. Already, look at the color contrast. Having that pop of green with that gorgeous, robust beef red color is going to be really beautiful when we slice this. So pinwheel, it's what the name implies. We're going to roll this, then we're going to slice it, and then we're going to sear it. Okay, let's bring in a little bit of cheese. We already have the Parmigiano in our pesto, but I'm going to use a provolone today. Gruyere would also be really delicious, a little bit more robust. But provolone is excellent because it's mild and you have a great melt ability. I want that ooze, that cheese pull, that that delicious texture when it comes off that screaming hot grill that's gonna make it mouth-watering and pair really well with something that we're aiming to cook around medium rare. We'll pull this off around 130, 125 degrees for that extra juicy slice. And then prosciutto. This is a fun way to get a little extra salinity while you're also pulling in some great flavor. So making sure the prosciutto stays cool before you go ahead and layer it helps in the ease of pulling it off the little parchment papers. But I think we could probably get, what do you think? Maybe 2 or 3 more slices on there too? Look at that. Look, it's like just the layers of great flavor in there. That robustness that you get with the prosciutto is really awesome. And then how about we sneak a little bit in there too? And then let's roll it up like a parcel. And so think about the grain of the meat. I'm gonna keep the grain of the meat going horizontal, and then we're just going to, I'm gonna start down here because I had a little imperfection on my slicing skills. See it? I got a little too close to the edge there too, but guess what? We're going to just tuck it in to the center of the pinwheel, and no one needs to know. And then now we're just left with all that is great and has complete integrity for the grill. Now, before I add my skewers, let's go ahead and just give it a little trussing with some butcher's twine. Okay, take your skewers and let's go ahead and drive them through. The trussing will help make sure, oops, oh, it's ready. Look at that, gorgeous. Okay, let's lay that out on our little cook surface, getting it ready to take outside. All right, so who's ready to go outside? Grab your winter boots. Don't let a little snow slow you down. I also grabbed some scallion I thought would be really good to throw on too. Meet me outside. Okay, my friends, this is what winter grilling in New England really looks like. So I have the grill preheated, giving the chance for the snow to melt a little bit. And then I have a couple different zones. I have a really hot zone over here and then a little bit cooler zone there. So I want to give the steak a really great opportunity to sear, get that great texture on the outside, and then we're gonna flip it, and then we'll move it over to the slightly cooler side to give it a chance to really finish off cooking. And then you can see I have my contaminated baking sheet here that I've brought the raw protein out along with my scallions. Let's get some cool color going on there. I thought those would be fun to use and then also pull in as a little garnish. But then right underneath, to make it easy, I have my cutting board. So when the steak is finished, we'll be able to bring this back into the house like this. Also a thermometer, that's gonna be your gauge, especially when you've filled this with all those delicious gooey fillings like the provolone and the pesto. You can't necessarily get a really accurate pinch test. This will be our indicator that it's reached 125, 130 degrees, or whatever your cook preference is before we pull it. I see some really good color starting to form there on the bottom. Having a little patience so it can start to form some great grill marks is the aim here, but let's see how we're looking. Yum, nice. We're making the neighbors jealous. Officially, it smells unbelievable. That basil and garlic. I'm gonna pull a couple of these that have reached 125 degrees. There's a couple that need another minute or so to bake on indirect heat, but these look like they are ready. Okay, my friends, let's let this rest. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, let's serve these up with some creamy orzo. Meet me back inside. Okay, just really quick, I want you to know how much it means to me that you're joining me in the kitchen, and I want to know you are here. So drop a comment down below, say hi, let me know you stopped by. Also, give this a like, and my guess is you're a foodie and probably have some friends that might want to gather a recipe or two to add to their kitchen repertoire. So share it. Also, hey, if you have any brands, products, recipe ideas, ingredients that you think we should try right here in the chef's pantry, I want to know. Okay, let's get back into the kitchen. Welcome back. The windows are starting to steam. Our gorgeous flank steak is resting, and things just got serious because kids, we dropped the pasta. So here I have some orzo. I love orzo. Its name is actually inspired by barley because it mimics the shape of that grain, but it is in fact a beautiful pasta, and this one is bronze cut, so that means it has some really great texture that's going to make this extra toothy for a great sauceability factor. So I'm gonna drain it, and you can see I have a little pitcher that I'm collecting the sacred pasta water in before I go ahead and dump out everything. Nothing is more sad than forgetting to reserve some of this starchy water that's going to give the pasta sauce itself a delicious velvety texture when we work our magic. So our family loves things that are creamy, that have a great luscious velvety sauce quality, and this is maybe one of the easiest ways to achieve that with such humble ingredients. So simple orzo, you could use your favorite pasta shape, but we love how fun and small this is. Then it's beautiful butter. We have about 5 tablespoons of butter here. I'm actually using salted butter too to just give me a little extra boost of flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and pop in some of that starchy pasta water, and we're going to start to emulsify our butter with the pasta water. This is going to expand that velvety texture without adding any cream or more butter than you feel like there actually is because of the great texture. Also, loads of Parmigiano. Think about cacio e pepe, think about Alfredo, think about a carbonara, how you get that incredible richness from delicious, simple ingredients. Can you see how it's getting that creaminess, almost like a risotto? Let's go ahead and add just a little more pasta water, and then let's go for almost all the cheese. I'm going to reserve a little bit for the top. And then here, let's vigorously whisk to really create an emulsification. Also putting that cheese to work. That cheese is going to be incognito in here, creating a really smooth texture as we work our way around. And just like all pasta in our house, when mom drops the pasta, that means I better have family within arm's reach, because we're really about to set our sights on the table. Okay, so this is of course best enjoyed hot. If you need to reconstitute it, adding a little bit of the pasta water and bringing it ever so slightly to temperature will be just what you need. And then here, let's go ahead and add some cracked pepper. And some fresh parsley. I did a coarse chop here too, pulling in some of that great green. And then loads of extra Parmigiano. You could also do a blend of Parmigiano and Pecorino. That would also be great. Pecorino has that great tang to it. That's so awesome. Can you imagine how simple and comforting biting into something like this on a cold winter day is? Okay, let's go ahead and plate this up. Let's go ahead and pop in some of that delicious creamy orzo. This is a great alternative to a simple mac and cheese without all the extras in there. Keep it simple, all about the texture and the great flavor. Okay, here we have our little pinwheel. Look at that, I went ahead and sliced that open. Look at how, oh God, gorgeous. Look at that pesto popping out there. Okay, I know I need to take a bite for us, right? This was a team effort today. Comfort and decadence. This is how I want my flank steak. Fire up that grill, get outside, enjoy the season. Tag me, I want to see you grilling it up, and I'll see you next week in the Chef's Pantry. Bon appetit.